Hello, everybody. My name is Manus Dale Shepherd. You can call me Dale. And I am a seventh and eighth grade math teacher here at Harold Whitaker Middle School in McGoffin County. And I'm here today to talk to you about the Modern Classroom Project. It was a summer institute program mentorship that I got to participate in this summer. And I wanted to, give you some details and see how I used it in my room. Okay, so what is the Modern Classroom Project? The Modern Classroom Project, or MCP, is an instructional model that is research-based that can be used to reach students at different levels. It has three main principles. Those are blended instruction, self-paced instruction, and mastery-based learning. Blended instruction is the idea behind that is that students access their content, whatever that content may be, the teacher teaching it, through teacher-created videos. Okay, now you can use different programs. They encourage you to use different programs to make those videos interactive. The program that we used in the summer and that I used for this in implementing it was the Edpuzzle. All right, because you're allowed to call or make students have stopping points where they either answer questions or you want to make sure you want to emphasize the main point. Self-paced instruction, students control their own pace. Okay, their learning is done at their own pace. You have a lot of lessons pre-made. There's a lot of front work, front loading in this model as the teacher. You make it ahead of time, plan everything out, and then you put it out there for the kids. And the kids then do self-paced instruction and they go at their own pace. So everybody starts at lesson one. Well, after the first day, most of the kids may be done with the first lesson, some may not. Well, the next day, those kids that are still on lesson one will continue, and those that are on lesson two will continue on and do that lesson and then the next lesson. Okay. Then the last main principle of Modern Classroom Project is mastery-based learning. They believe that students should master the content that they're learning. If they take what they call mastery checks, they don't get a satisfactory score of passing or showing mastery, then they take that again. They step back, they do some practice, if they're math like me. And then they attempt the mastery check again. They don't get to go on to the next lesson until they get that mastery check done. Okay. Now, in the classroom, there are several things that we, like I said, front loading, a lot of work ahead of time that you have to do. You have to be able, you need to design your lessons, design your unit with the number of lessons in mind. All right. So, that's up to you as you're teaching your class, as your students, you determine what they need. Okay. Design your lessons with the goal in mind. There's a lot of in the mentorship this summer, they had us start with mastery checks, which is the next item. And what you do is you create your mastery check on your target, whatever your lesson goal is. You do the assessment first, then you decide how you want to teach. It's a lot of the backwards design type thing. Instructional videos are accompanied by guided notes. So what I did was, or what I've done is I made my lesson notes, made a copy, took out some things, and made my video with the lesson notes, but gave the kids their guided notes, the notes that I took parts out of so that they could follow along, fill in, do examples with me, and that sort of thing. And then another thing that they stress is pacing tracker, tracking the pace of the students. Now there's a student one and then there's a public one. All right, you have one of those, or you can have both of those, depending on what you want to do. Public facing tracker or public facing tracker, that's put up in the room for everybody to see on your smart board, on whatever you have. You present it up there, everybody's name, the lessons in the unit, or what you're working on, and then mark who's got it. okay? Who's still on it, who's on pace, who's ahead of pace, because you may have kids ahead of pace, ahead of some others, and then you may have some kids that are behind pace. But it's there for them to see, and the purpose of that is so that kids who may be ahead, those kids can be asked by other students to help each other. Collaboration is another important thing in this model, okay, between students, collaboration between students. You as the teacher are a facilitator. You walk around, you help the kids who need help. If there are certain kids that you need to target and provide more one-on-one assistance, you can do that. You're free up to do that. So yeah, that's that. Now, examples of this in the classroom. Okay, if you see here, I've got some pictures of my kids working. If you look closely, they've got their notes up, their guided notes. They have my Edpuzzle video in one split screened and with their notes, typing, they're working. I'm just walking around the classroom, okay? I'm monitoring, I'm there for help. I'm a resource for help. And again, I used Edpuzzle for this. That way they have the stopping points, because normally before what I would do is I would teach, do some examples, 2, 3 examples, then I would give them their own problem to do. Then I would teach, do some more examples, get their own problem to do that for, till I have the content that I'm, supposed to teach taught. And then I give them, some guided practice. Same idea as what I did with this, except I kind of cloned myself with the Edpuzzle video. Everybody's hearing me teach because, they have their headphones in, they're watching it on their computer screens. And then I do some examples, then I make the Edpuzzle stop them and answer some check problems. I call them check problems. And then they do that, and then they go on to the next thing, okay? And if they need help, that's when they ask. At the end of the guided notes that they were doing, I gave them guided practice, 5 problems in the directions they were to do those 5 problems. After they're done, they let me check them if they hadn't pulled me over for help already. And, that's how I determined if they had mastery for that. And if you look here, there's some different videos here. In the first video on the left with myself and another student, she needed help with one of the check problems, and I am assisting her. In the other 3 videos, you see the kids working. As I'm with that student, the other 3 are working without me. They have me in their ear, but they don't have me in front of them constantly directing them. They're working on the notes. So you see some of them with a dry erase board and marker, because they're allowed to work them out with the dry erase board and marker in my room. Some have paper pencil. They have the freedom to choose that. And working out the examples, working out the notes. All right. Okay, this is example here is the example of my pacing tracker. I took the kids' names out for confidentiality reasons. But you can see if they have a check mark, that means they've got that one done. They're good. They're ready for the next lesson. If they didn't finish it or they didn't master it. So we got to go back and work and make sure we get that. And then that's when you can do more like small group. If you want to pull them in, you can do small group, or if you just want to do one-on-one, because maybe they just didn't finish it. They knew what they're doing. They just ran out of time. So then you do a check-in with them, be like, okay, how you doing? What do we need to do here? Let's get a plan. Then we do it. All right. And then in the future, the process that keeps going. They do all these, they get to the mastery check, you're good. Okay, determine mastery of the whole thing. Here's some student examples. You can see in the top right picture, we have, that's what their guided notes look like when they pull them up. In the picture on the right, that's what they started with. My lesson notes had that information. I put the blank spots in with the text boxes. They had to type it in. All right. And then the last one, the bottom left, That's an example of the examples that I gave them. Okay, and you can see this kid, this student here, whoops, this student here went through and typed everything as I worked it out in my video. And then, here I've linked the lesson notes and my guided notes and my Edpuzzle video for anybody to look at and see if they want to, just to get like a glimpse of what it's like to do this.